Welcome to the Happy Jacks RPG Network. I am Chris, and I am finding my notes. There they are. Okay. We are on session 5 of The Great American Witch, which is a Great American novel adapted RPG. You can catch the prior episodes on happyjacks.org, Great American Witch, and you can find all the other shows on Happy Jacks Network as well at the happyjacks.org/shows. So I am Christopher Gray. We are excited about jumping in tonight. We're sort of on an odd night because Insert Coin finally ended, which is sad. But that means we get back-to-back witches. So we're going to be back tonight and then next week as well. So looking forward to moving this story along. So that's me. Who else is here? Emily, do you want to take it away?
Emily Vanderwerf. I am playing... I totally forgot. I'm playing Abigail Hawks, who is the craft of Hekate.
Awesome. Jim? Jim is making funny facial expressions for those of you that are not watching. His eyebrows have gone in weird directions.
There we go.
Hi.
My name is Jim, and I'm playing Cabe of the tradition of Terra.
Yeah, sorry, there's a jet landing in my backyard, apparently.
Jeez.
I'm right by the airport.
Local friendly neighborhood attorney.
Awesome. Mac?
Hey guys, I'm Mac Beauvais. I'm playing Imelda Lake, who goes by Mel, and it is the craft of Lilith.
Last but not least, Joe.
Hey y'all, I'm Joe. I am playing Albert, who is the craft of the Spider Grandmother.
Well, welcome back, everybody. It has been a while, so I'll do a recap here to kind of reorient ourselves to all of the things happening in Salem, Indiana, just before the winter solstice. The halfway house Salem's Hearth has taken in a young raven-kind therianthrope, who also happens to be a witch and also probably a reborn ancient Celtic goddess. We're trying to get to the bottom of all of that. She has been under a custody battle between the Hearth and her family and another coven who are trying to protect Salem by keeping the ravenkind at bay. And a lot of shenanigans ensued around all of that. So when we last left them, they finally came to a sort of truce between covens and the Ravenkind family to keep this teenager at the Hearth for the time being until more can be figured out. So that has been done. I think the whole custody battle is sort of at bay for a period of time now. That's a big sweeping understatement of everything that went on, but that's sort of where we are. We've just gotten through Thanksgiving. Yay. There were a lot of people that got a lot of food at the Hearth, so thank you for opening up the Hearth to the people of Salem. And so we're going to go ahead and pick it up on the day after. So this is probably later in the day after everybody's gone to bed, woke up, sort of feeling refreshed, and we'll just sort of take it from there. We're going to just ease into this a little bit because there's a lot of things happening and we have to take some time to explore all those things. So I'd like to open, as we have typically done, with a montage. And everybody can just sort of introduce what their characters are doing at this moment, the day after Thanksgiving. I think since we passed Thanksgiving, the next milestone is really solstice. So we are sort of... I'm guessing the coven and certainly all of the witches in the country that are watching this solstice happen because of the solar eclipse that's going to happen at the same time are all quite aware that this is now imminent. So things are probably going to start amping up. The witches are probably going to start feeling a lot more energy just in general, and this is probably going to escalate day by day. As the energy comes, it's likely going to be more difficult to control. And so you're probably on edge. You're probably a little anxious, and it's no longer dilly-daddle time. So we have to figure out how to prepare for what's coming, even though you don't really know the extent of what's coming. So yeah, let's just do that. Why don't we start with a montage? We can open with Mel's kitten, who is sitting with Raven at the kitchen, and Raven is maybe telekinetically controlling a black feather over the kitten, who is madly trying to catch it. So where is Mel?
Mel is there watching this happen and just kind of muttering to herself, trying to like running names through her head of what to call this kitten. And is very distracted by that, but every once in a while kind of reaches out and like gingerly pets the cat. Like she's never had a pet before, so this is huge to her.
Yeah, and I think this little tabby has really bonded to Mel from the beginning. But since she showed up, do we decide it was a he? It was a she. Since she showed up yesterday, she's been following Mel everywhere.
Yeah, and I think she's been responding every time that the cat is meowing after her with "Yes, madam. Yes, madam."
Okay, so there's some cat antics going on. Anybody else in the kitchen? You want to do a montage apart from the kitchen?
I don't know where I am, but I feel strongly it's not the kitchen. So I'm thinking about that.
Okay, we'll come back to you. Jim, you're usually in the kitchen. I'm sorry, Cabe.
Well, Cabe actually is in the basement right now.
Oh.
And he's moving some, what looks like those banker's file boxes around. And behind a big pile of them is a wooden case. And he pulls out the wooden case very gingerly and sets it aside. And he goes to the middle of the lattice work on the floor that is representative of all the people that have joined the coven. And he removes his shirt and opens up the box, and it's a couple of those Indian punch daggers, the katars. And you see him sort of like pick those up and sort of wrap his wrists in them, and then sort of like start doing movements, like martial arty type of practice movements as he starts swinging the blades around and is centering himself. And then after he does that for a while, he's kind of sweaty. He just goes into lotus position. And he's just sort of meditating, preparing the future.
Okay. I didn't know he was into martial arts. It makes him even more interesting and complex. All right. Well, what about? Well, do we know what Abigail's doing yet, or should we move on to?
Yeah, I think
Albert?
I know. I think I know what Abigail's up to. Abigail doesn't have a room at the halfway house because she traditionally stays either in her apartment or at Megan, her fiance's apartment.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, she's closeted to everybody else in her life. But she has been sleeping here a lot more lately. She's been sleeping in Raven's room, sort of being a protective figure. And so she wakes up in Raven's bed, even though Raven is downstairs, apparently having overslept, having not realized what's happening, and picks up her phone and looks at it, and there's just dozens upon dozens of texts from various people she's been shirking her duties a lot because she's been so drawn into the intrigue here. And I think, as we saw last time, people are starting to notice.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What's Albert doing?
Albert is up in his room, and I'd like to begin with a short visit into what he's been dreaming about lately. We first see a scene. It's about 1970. There's a large protest outside of the Pentagon. There's a lot of anti-war sentiment about Vietnam. And there's a huge group of people chanting, lift the Pentagon, lift the Pentagon. And it's a bunch of hippies smoking weed. And they're like waving their fingers towards the Pentagon building, threatening to levitate it with peace and love. But Albert is there. And the ground begins to shake. and fire begins to sprout out of the ground, and the pentagon does lift. And it keeps on going up and up and up into the sky, and then it collapses and falls. And then everything goes to black. The next scene is somewhere in 1990. People are rioting. There's violence on the streets. People are angry. People are shouting for justice. And there's this storm that comes that blows everything away, just everything. And Albert is there in the center of it. Albert wakes up, wipes the sweat from his face. My name is Albert. This is a safe place. And he puts on his clothes and begins his day and walks down into the hearth.
Okay, so it's sort of like a normal day, roughly, right? And as seems pretty typical with Salem's Hearth, somebody just walks in, halfway expecting a reception, but there's a reception desk. There probably isn't anybody there except maybe Mel, who always happens to be walking by when somebody just walks in.
We warded it to be that way.
It's probably the case now where it's just like always, I leave the room and then there's the person there.
I think that's the house itself sort of saying
something. This is a I don't know how this is going to pan out, so I'm gonna call this momentum, but it might escalate from there. So you'll need to know what your aspects are in case you need to roll against a conflict. So this, I guess, older woman. Let's put her maybe in her 60s. Walks in. She's wearing a purple pantsuit. Her hair is done perfectly in this perm. She has pearls, and she's wearing heels. She walks in and just this really big smile. Hello! It's such a pleasure to be here at last.
Yeah, for me too. Where did you come from?
New Orleans. I'm Lola. I think we talked on the phone, dear. Your voice sounds very familiar.
Yeah, maybe. Could have been one of the other knows me.
Well, how are you?
I'm okay. We weren't 100% sure when you might show up.
Oh, I'm not here to stay. Sweetie, I am so sorry I did it again. Young lady, I am just here to see if you need any help in advance of our arrival. It is getting close to solstice, as you well know. And we've been noticing some turbulence around here, some lots of activity, and mostly want to see if everybody is okay.
Yeah, I mean, we're fine here, just making sure that everything is ready for the solstice.
Okay, well, you're not withholding anything important that I might need to know. After all, there have been a lot of I don't know how to describe it, almost disruptions coming from around here.
You know, let me, hey, Albert, can you come here for a minute?
Albert walks down, and he already knew that Lola entered the house. He's just been waiting for this moment because he saw it in his dreams. And he walks down, and he makes eye contact with Lola, and he just nods.
Oh, and this is a momentum scene, so I'm going to take a bit of narrative control. Also adding a conflict here called Lola, because we don't really know where this is heading.
No.
She sort of squints at Albert and says, "Oh, This is where you ended up.
Yes, this is where I've chosen to stay. It's been a while.
Are you
It's
still
good to
having
see
your problem?
Not a problem, a choice.
Well, now, isn't this interesting? Is somebody watching over you?
I'm surrounded by sisters.
Do they know who you are?
They know who I choose to be. They're the only ones who see me as I choose to be.
Well, isn't that cryptically convenient? Okay, well, this is quite a surprise. I will need to go back to New Orleans and consult
When
the
should
others.
we expect the others to arrive?
Oh, a fortnight. Are you certain you don't need any help around here?
I think we have this under control, right, Albert?
We'll let you know if we require you.
Do you have coffee?
There is an olive garden not far from here.
So you do not want to invite me in? Well, I wasn't expecting southern hospitality, but I was expecting a little more, I must admit.
I could probably go rustle up some coffee
That would be lovely, dear. Thank you.
and
So you've decided
scurries
to
off.
invite yourself.
I'm just standing here. I'm not yet inside. Should I be concerned?
Do make yourself at home. This is a hearth open to all which kind.
Thank you. She struts into the kitchen.
I sneer at her.
The, if you would like, I mean, we could have done a conflict there if you do want her to leave.
I don't want her to leave, but I've got words with her at some point. It doesn't have to happen now, but Albert is visibly not happy with seeing her. There's maybe some history there of some kind.
So Mel rustles up coffee, but she puts it purposely in a disposable cup.
Okay.
Albert nods and smiles at Mel.
Thank you. So there are others here, yes?
Yes.
Well, I just wanted to meet the hearth that will be hosting all of the witches of the United States of America. Not
Well,
too much to
then-
ask, is it?
Well, maybe there could have been a little asking and we could have coordinated everybody in advance for you to come and meet with everyone.
I did not mean to touch a nerve. I just would like to see who else is in this hearth and what other surprises there might be.
Are you expecting some surprises?
I wasn't expecting you, Albert.
Mhm.
That is the name you're using, yes.
Which is
There's
when
going to be a
Abigail-
really
Go ahead.
long held silence between Albert and Lola. And Albert's not going to be the first one to break the silence. He's just going to meet her gaze. But there's no threat. There's no animosity. It's just there's unresolved. There's an air of unresolvedness between us, and it's permeable. It's thick.
This is Abigail there.
Yeah, Abigail's coming downstairs, pulling her wig up into a ponytail, I guess. And she's like, so I have a theory about the whole Celtic god. And then she sees
Abigail,
there's someone
we
else
have a
there.
very special guest with us this morning. A sister from New Orleans, one of the 7. Truly, we are blessed by her visit.
Oh, hi, I'm Abigail Hawks. I'm actually late for work, so
She does
I
the
was
kind of
giving-
reach out, the hand reach out, and then, oh, you're leaving. Okay,
Well,
it's a pleasure to
we
meet
can.
you.
I can spare a
Oh,
couple
no,
minutes.
it's fine. No, it's fine. You can go.
It's-
It's fine.
It's such an honor to meet you. I've heard so much about the Seven and New Orleans. And
Well, you should come
witches.
and visit us anytime.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We'll even give you a swamp tour. We throw marshmallows off
that
the
would-
boat, and the alligators come. You can take pictures.
That would be great. Is it dangerous?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go deal with some of this other stuff. It's a real pleasure to meet you.
Other stuff? Do you need help? I'm here
I
for
just-
the day.
Yeah, just my job. It's not a big deal. I gotta go see some other people about a thing.
Oh, and what about this one? And Raven has just been playing with the cat, completely oblivious to anybody being there. She's having fun.
I do think that no matter what happens, Abigail, like, not even consciously takes a couple steps between Lola and Raven.
A new initiate.
Yeah, that's Raven. She's great.
She glows. Cute cat. What's her name?
Madam?
Adorable. Well, I appear to have taken enough of your time. Thank you for the coffee, dear, and we will be seeing you in 2 weeks. Hopefully you can clean up some of the messes that are happening around here by then.
Such as?
Well, these disruptions. It's almost like explosions happening all over the place.
That is concerning.
And certainly these ravens that are hanging outside your house cannot be a good omen.
I would be very mindful of casting aspersions on those you've not yet met. These ravens have done no harm yet.
Yeah, we like those ravens. We want them here. They're our friends.
Okay. So she has made up her mind about something. So this is a moment you can let her come to her own conclusions, or you can try to steer her into a different conclusion. She has that Judgy McJudge look on her face. Like the, eyebrow slightly, okay, well.
I mean, Abigail knows that look very well. So,
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, you said to Abigail, come by any time, which I assume you would still have somebody want to call in advance. And so, we weren't prepared for your arrival. And, wouldn't you feel awkward about that as well? Showing up and there's messes, or does that make any sense?
exactly. It's not very polite.
Okay, so I think this is navigate others against the conflict Lola.
Okay.
You can do it at wheel since Abigail chimed in there too.
Okay.
Very helpfully.
These dice are cursed tonight. I got, even with that, a whopping 5.
Okay.
Oops.
She's well. I obviously meant no offense, but when we look behind the veil and see what essentially looks like nuclear explosions happening in Salem, Indiana, only weeks away from one of the most significant cosmological events in modern history, we draw a bit of concern, don't we? Now, I do hope you can clean up whatever nightmare you have created here before we come back. Have I made myself clear?
Crystal.
Raven then looks up and is like, God, you're a bitch.
Albert slyly gives Raven a little.
Watch the tongue on that one, or I'll watch it for you.
What do you mean by that?
I've said my piece, and she is now walking out.
Is that what peace sounds like to you?
She pivots around, and we are now in a Untitled chapter. You can switch your aspects if you like, because the moment has just become more intense. As she is whipped around, a gust of wind just flies from her. And you can feel almost like a pulse of power and energy radiate. Her eyes are unblinking, and she's staring at Albert. Is there something further you would like to say?
Find myself in the mood for breadsticks. Perhaps you can meet me.
I am not your peer.
No, you've made that abundantly clear over the years, and have never lost an opportunity to remind me.
Watch your next words very carefully. I expect this situation to be fixed in 2 weeks.
If I need to have words with you, where can I find you to give you an update?
I don't need an update. I need you to fix it. She's going to turn and leave again, unless somebody does something else.
Abigail has something to say, but only after she's out of hearing range.
I think Cabe might even feel her presence from below. It was one of those big, like, Neo in the Matrix when he flexes, you know.
Right. I'll head up upstairs. I'm still shirtless. I have a towel around my neck. Now, you folk make it real difficult for a man to sit down and get some meditation done.
Oh, blame it on us.
Well, who else am I? Oh, gonna blame it on. Hello.
Well, it seems like you have missed some of the fun. I am Lola, and I was just leaving.
Well, I'm very sorry to have missed you. My name is Cabe.
She looks back at Albert. 2 weeks. And then begins to walk out.
I believe that we've exercised our ability to make friends and influence people, I suppose.
There is some history between this particular sister and I. I apologize if my reaction has brought unwanted attention. That was not my intent.
Is this after she leaves? All right, let's cut to meeting real quick then, so you guys can have narrative control.
After the door slams shut, after like a solid 5 or 10 count, Abigail's like, yeah, well, this song Lola is transphobic as fuck, so.
Well, I'm assuming from the conversation that this was a member of the Seven Sisters, yes?
That is correct. She is a currently seated member of that council.
And I'm assuming that she's not very happy with us.
She seemed like she thought we couldn't handle our messes. But I got an invitation to New Orleans, so there's that.
I take it also that we weren't very forthright in our current situation.
I thought it best that we not be completely forthcoming just yet.
She clearly knows something is up. She said it's been like nuclear explosions behind the veil. And she seems to know that there are messes, but she doesn't seem to know what they are. But she was really interested in Raven and said she glows. And she seemed to like the cat, too. But who wouldn't love that little face?
Only known her for a couple of days, and I swear to God, if anything happened to her, I would rip the world apart. Oh, baby.
I mean, where did they get off just walking in unannounced and then expecting everything to be picture perfect to whatever weird degree they determined?
But a silly thing about people in charge is that they believe that they're in charge.
Have you ever noticed that like the whole point of this whole thing is to tear down unjust power structures, but then like it exists within an unjust power structure of its own? I gotta write some of this down. Hold on. Abigail's like typing that into her phone, very like she's tweeting it.
Did they give us any pertinent information about what the goings on are?
Just to get everything cleaned up and together in 2 weeks, like some screwed up ultimatum.
Well, I think that, although rudely put, it does coincide with our goals. We want to resolve our situation before the solstice. I'm assuming that that's where everybody will be at peak power and the foretold end of the world would come, right? I'd like to avoid that at all costs.
Yeah, but if they're all going to be like her, end of the world might not be the worst thing in the world.
I'm starting to agree.
She was awful.
So as I was saying, when I came down the stairs, I have a theory about the whole Celtic god thing. So it kind of depends on if we think Raven actually is the Celtic god, or if we think she's just like a vessel, if like a god is going to come and inhabit her and like push her actual self out. If it's the former, I don't know what to do. But if it's the latter, I think I can like build like a wall of spirits around her that won't let anybody in and will keep her safe, I think. I don't know. It seems like a thing I should be able to do.
Abigail, I'm right here.
Oh, hi. Yes, right. Hello.
She's playing with the feather and the cat.
Do you know if you are actually this or if like you're going to be, you wouldn't know that. I mean, like, what do you know?
I know that I'm not some god.
You're really powerful for someone so young, right?
She just shakes her head, and she's kind of doing her eye roll and paying attention to the kitten.
If you knew something, you'd tell me, right?
Of course, I don't know anything. Just
Okay.
want to play with the cat.
So anyway, yeah. If she's just a vessel, I think I can stop that. If it's the other thing, I don't know.
It was my understanding that Mab, the Fae goddess, wanted to intercede and prevent Bahat, I believe, from being born. She believes that Raven is this Bahat.
Well, we're not gonna let her prevent Raven from being born because Raven's already been born. Unless, but I'm not gonna let that happen either.
Perhaps the Fae might have more information about what this myth is about.
That's a good call. Does anybody like know how to get in touch with them?
We will likely require the help of a hag, one that can bear us safely to the Fae realm and back. I remember Joseph had one by his side.
Great.
I mean, or is there some way that we could invite the Fae here? Just as another option.
Remember, this is a meeting, so if there's something you want to create to make that possible, you can.
Fae are not classically known for being the most trustworthy. They are guileful, trickstery, cunning.
Then wouldn't it be better to meet on our ground instead of theirs?
You make a fair point. Albert very slightly nods and grins.
So do we issue an invitation? Do we draw some runes on the floor? I'm new to this.
I'm not sure. I've never tried to summon them before.
All of us here are initiated to this coven. Together we can craft a work that will be powerful enough to our services, to our needs. But it will require all of us, I suspect, including those who have recently joined. And Albert looks over at Raven.
So you want to do a coven spell to summon a fairy? Or, sorry, summon a fae from fairy?
Yeah, a coven spell. Well, something to the effect of do it so that we don't get tricked or harmed. That this is a safe haven for this kind of meeting.
I do hope that my other players in my other campaign are watching this. It's not like this has ever gone wrong before. Okay, so we'll pivot then into a mission.
Hold up. Explain that.
We're going to pivot into a mission. So whatever aspect you choose, you will get wheel whenever you use a spell in that aspect. Everything else is just normal.
Okay.
And the mission really is about creating a safe space, using magic to create a safe space in order to summon Fae. This is hag magic, and none of you are hags, so typically this sort of thing would happen at WoW, since you're using magic you're not familiar with. However, this would be I think this is Divination, so if you are in Mother, everything balances to a normal roll. If you want to metagame it, that's how you would do it. But Mother is the aspect you would need to get the best roll. Otherwise, you're just whatever you are.
I was definitely in Crone when Lola was in the house. I will spend a charm to shift to Mother.
Oh, you don't have to because we just switched chapters.
Oh, right. Okay.
So
cool.
You can just be Mother if you want to be.
Cool. That would be good.
And it makes sense in the narrative because, okay, you got to put on the protector pants and...
Mother pants.
Mom jeans.
Mom jeans.
Mom jeans, yes.
So what the way this works is everybody's going to roll, and then we're going to describe what the ritual looks like.
Okay.
And then everybody rolls, and so we just need 3 successes, and it'll happen. The conflict that we're confronting is any one of these, really. I think Battle Crow. Let's use that one.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm going to switch so everybody can see the desktop here. This is where we are. Okay. So let's describe, how does this ritual look? How do you work together? Where are you?
I have a spell that feels like it could be a good fit for this, which is revealing the best path for a subject. They find personal happiness and success, and that will use the best of their potential. And I feel like that could be a good, like a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Like we set up a fake version of that to lure some fairy with whatever, or some fae rather, with whatever might desire most. A delicious young baby or something.
All right. So because what you can do is make the rolling easier for the coven if you cast this first.
I'll cast this first.
However, I should warn you that we would probably need to escalate the conflict, because if you subdue this one, then it's not in play anymore in this chapter. But that's not a bad thing. That might be good for the story.
Okay. All right, I'm
okay with that.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll on this. Uh-oh. I got oh no, wait, I did it. I got a 8.
Awesome. Okay, so and what does this spell look like since you cast it?
Yeah, it's kind of like a sort of a swirling gold aura in the sky, and normally that would like settle around someone and sort of like it would almost be like an arrow that points out from their body like in the direction they should go, tugging them toward it. But in this case, it just sort of hovers in midair, like sort of acting as like a beacon to whoever might find it.
Okay, so with that up, you can get wheel on your face summoning spell. So everybody needs to roll wisdom, and it'll take a moment though to describe what this looks like. When the whole coven is, what is Raven doing? What is Mel doing? How does it all work together? I think Abigail's probably focused on her spell. So you're probably working around and with her.
Do you want us to roll first or describe it first?
Describe it first.
I pass around these little porcelain mushrooms to everybody, and we start creating a little fairy trot.
Okay.
I love that.
And the thing about it is that I control everybody's movements as they're putting down the fairy trod, but they have to move very precisely, because the walking patterns from one point to the other actually have to stamp into ground a pentagram as we move to set these trods. So the mushrooms themselves are sort of like the creation of the gate, and the pentagram inside is sort of seals the circle in a safety ward that would hold whatever we summon through.
Are you doing this in the basement? I'm assuming, maybe not in the kitchen.
I would think we'd probably be doing this in the outdoors.
Oh, okay.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, the backyard sounds great.
Sure.
Yeah, by the old oak tree.
Yeah, it's right by the trees. That's the Fey-like trees.
All right, so go ahead and roll then.
Or in Mother, that's just a regular roll then?
Yeah, if you're in Mother, you get the wisdom bonus, and also you get it in, well, everybody's gets it in Wheel. So, but if you're in Mother, you get the wisdom bonus.
I got 7.
Okay.
I got
an 8.
All right, cool. It's unanimous, but you don't have narrative control.
Boo.
Okay, so
I demand to speak with the creator of this game.
He's a monster.
cgray.author@gmail.com. Okay, so that's an E, Gray. So you're summoning Fae. I have to think about this. This is the problem with emergent games, folks. Okay. So a young man, very, very good skin, and a powdered wig, wearing 18th century New England sort of clothing with bow tie, walks out from behind the tree. And he's putting on these silk gloves. You ring.
I bow deeply and introduce myself. Yes, we have some questions that we thought maybe you might be able to help us answer.
Oh. It's one of these. And so he sits cross-legged in front of the tree and crosses his arms.
May I offer you anything to eat or drink?
Oh no, that would be bad. We would have to make a deal first. There's a conflict on the board called Fae.
We were visited by Mab herself recently.
Oh, that's quite impossible.
Why is that?
Mab is an idea, not a person.
Well, perhaps that idea has formed into something, for she believes that she needs to intervene in order to prevent the end of the world.
Was there a question you needed to ask me? Or are you just going to pontificate on things? It's okay if you do. It's fine. I just need to know how long I'm going to be here.
No, she mentioned having to stop a Celtic god, and we wanted some more information on that.
We are in what province?
This is Indiana.
Indiana.
Yeah.
I don't think there is a Celtic god here.
Do you know anything about the battle crow?
Oh, yes. That is a Celtic goddess. What's the question?
Like,
I need to understand what the deal is, so I have to understand what the question is that I can craft a contract.
what form would it take?
Well, that all depends on the question, doesn't it?
I'm so confused right now.
Well, why did you summon me? Did you want me to answer something?
Okay.
Or do you want me to
We were told that the battle crow was going to be summoned into the body of that young woman over there. And that vessel was prepared for that summoning. And Mab asked us to contain her so she can be returned on the solstice and deal with it before it brought forth the end of the world. We want to know how we can prevent that from happening.
Oh. Okay, I'm caught up. So, this is a big one. I think I'm going to need to actually draft a contract. And he reaches into his side bag, pulls out a parchment, and begins writing. So you are witches. Interesting. Okay. So, here's the thing. There is a new land deal that is going to happen outside of town. And they are going to be taking a huge plot of land in order to farm. They're going to farm. They're building a farm. So, I will give you this information if you stop that deal.
Abe's real good at contract law, so we should be able to do that.
What is the significance of this land to you?
Oh, the land itself is just land, but really we're running out of places. I didn't even know where we were until you told me.
Is there encroachment causing a problem for you? I simply wish to understand what your need is, that we may best negotiate in good faith.
Well, if you want to negotiate, that's, I suppose, okay, but those are my terms.
I'm not opposed to helping another, as long as the terms are favorable and transparent.
Okay. Okay, that's good. So, do we have a deal?
What exactly do we get in return?
I will explain to you on how. I will explain to you the information you're looking for. I can tell you how to stop the battle crow.
What would happen to the humans that reside on that land?
Well, that's just it. I don't want anybody residing on that land. I am speaking on behalf of some of the locals here, and they are running out of places. You called me. This is the deal. Do you want it or not?
I'm checking out my phone to see what actually already exists in that plot of land real quick.
Yeah, it is. It's outside of town. It is just it has been under somebody's ownership, but yeah, there was a land deal. They're going to turn it into crop. I'm not sure what would be out here. Probably corn.
So right now it's just like empty prairie or
Yeah,
woods or something. Okay.
yeah.
I stand before him and I go, I agree to the terms of this contract.
Albert raises an eyebrow and cocks his head over at Cabe as if, like, are you sure?
It's something that we need, and I'm willing to work towards it. And I think I got a way to work that out. It doesn't seem to be overpopulated, and frankly, America's got enough corn. You ever been to Nebraska? Besides, if we could give our friends here a little bit more elbow room to live in, it seems fair to us. Don't you think?
You'll forgive me if I insist we have a moment to deliberate before we give you a final answer.
It sounded pretty final to me.
I'm
Oh,
in
look, it's
favor.
already signed.
I
Pleasure
agree to it.
doing business with you, Cabe. Oh, did you want to talk some more? Time is a little fuzzy for me. I have as much as you might need, I suppose.
We all just simply wish for you to. Is this a upon delivery situation then?
Well, of course. Didn't you read
And
the
I'll-
contract?
Then I'll have to work right now.
May I know your name?
George Washington. At your service.
And is that the name you'll agree to answer to?
Where did you find this one? He's very curious. What's your name?
You can refer to me as Albert.
Albert. Pleasure to meet you. Can I go now?
I didn't catch what you prefer to go by. How may I refer to you?
General Washington.
So it is agreed then. You'll answer to General Washington should I have need to call upon you.
Yes, but not George is too improper.
General Washington. Thank you.
This is a good one. Can I go now? Do you have a ward? It hurts.
I swipe my foot over the ward.
Thank you.
Damn it.
Were you going to say something?
I was like just a fraction before, but he already wiped the ward, so
No.
Sorry.
it's all right.
So I will see you soon. He draws like a curtain and just disappears.
Cabe, what was that?
That seemed like a land deal to me.
Oof.
In our world, perhaps contracts function the way that you think they do. When dealing with Fae is an entirely different matter. I tried to secure a name. It's not his true name, but it's something.
He's never going to give you his true name.
I know. But he made a verbal agreement to bind himself to that name if called upon. That gives us something. We have to be very careful.
How quickly can we do what is being asked of us to even get this information? I was too late to think it, but we should ask her at least a little bit of info up front.
That is not how they do their contracts.
Hmm. So we have to stop a land deal. That's exciting. I've never had to do that. Is that difficult? Is it something we can actually do?
Quick question. is the conflict still on the table, and can I cast a spell?
Yeah. Faye is a big conflict on the table right now. And we are still in the mission scene. Was it mission? Yeah.
Yeah. So I am going to cast a spell in my aspect, which is Mother, and I'm going to bring forth incredible wealth.
Okay. Awesome. Right. So this is actually, I'm going to make a new conflict, and I'm going to call this the Faye contract, or the General Washington contract. And that is on the table. That's the one you're confronting. In a mission, you get wheel.
All right. And thanks to the wheel, I got a 10. Actually, no, 11. Sorry, because I have a -2, but it's +1 because I'm in Mother.
Okay, so you have you get an experience point for Mother. I'm not sure if we dealt with experience yet, because I might forget sometimes, which is bad. Sorry, but whenever you get a 10+ on a spell, you get an experience point in that aspect. And when you have 3 experience in that aspect, you can actually choose a spell from another craft. So and just for instance, repeat. So that is your first Mother experience.
It is. I actually have one in each other one, so I have one little check in each.
Oh, good. So we did deal with that before. Good. I forget. All right. So that means you have narrative control. This resolves the conflict. I'm not going to subdue it. So you can tell me exactly how this plays out.
I basically I pull out my phone, and I basically put in a banking account, and then the phone sort of like floats in front of me, and I feign at pulling a lever like on a machine, and then you hear some ding 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 from the phone, and it starts going off like with fanfare, and then you see a considerable amount of zeros behind the number that was on there sort of pop up in a little like rotating wheel. And I'm like, excuse me, I need to make a phone call. And I will attempt to simply buy the land.
Okay. So I think I'm trying to figure out where we should go from here. So this is a mission. You got what you wanted. We're going to move into mundane.
Can I do a divination before we do that?
Yeah.
Albert would like to, while he's in Mother, see all possible futures as a result of present actions or decisions. He just wants to see if he can divine what the deal actually is.
Okay. Yeah, so you're confronting
as much
Faye.
as he can discover. So I'm gonna make that roll. Is this at wheel still?
Yeah, if you're in that aspect, it is.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Mother, good. Oh, 11.
My goodness. Now you can't resolve the
Yay.
Fae conflict just because it's inevitably going to come back.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
we'll subdue that.
Yeah, no.
And you do have narrative control, but not the specifics because Fae is still in
Right.
control. So the narrative control is going to be about what is whether or not this contract is rigged. You get to determine
Yes.
that.
Okay. I would like to have Albert realize that the contract, of course, is rigged, but General Washington doesn't know that we know that it's rigged, and because of that, we can position ourselves around it.
Okay. Yeah. The contract is the terms of the contract is that he will share how to defeat the Battle Crow.
Right.
In exchange for in exchange for stopping the
land
farm, right?
Right.
But that does not necessarily mean he's going to tell you anything else about it.
Right.
So it's rigged in that he's only going to give you enough information to fulfill the contract, but you are certain that's not going to be enough information to solve the situation.
Okay.
And you can't really
I-
tell beyond that. You just know that that's the case.
I relayed this to Cabe when he comes back from doing Cosmic Lottery.
Okay.
The Fae tricked us?
That is to be expected. But our suspicions are confirmed. This being is dangerous.
And kind of handsome, too, if you think about it. Not that I've thought about it.
In that sort of 18th century chic.
Yeah. It works for me, I gotta say.
So the while Cabe is gone, I guess we could move into mundane because he's off to make a phone call. And I want to go mundane because there is a knock at the door. This time they're knocking, and they didn't just walk in and expect to be received. Whoever is knocking.
That's very, very strange.
Go ahead.
Albert's and Crony medium.
I'm gonna answer the door, but do that very awkward, just sort of peeking around it at whoever's at the door thing.
Well, before you see anybody, you smell cologne.
Oh, God.
And then
I try not to let my eyes water.
You see a very, very, very nice haircut. And then you see perfectly cared for teeth. And then you see what's probably a sweater vest underneath a jacket. And Alex Hale is smiling at you. Hi there.
Hi. Can I help you?
I think I remember you. I don't remember your name, though. I'm sorry. I'm Alex?
I'm Mel.
Mel. Yeah, I'm with the church, and I just wanted to stop by and thank you for the wonderful festivities yesterday.
Oh yeah. Do you want to come
standing
in?
there awkwardly. Yeah, if you don't mind, that would be great. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Can I get you coffee?
Coffee would be great. That would be very good. Thank you.
And kind of shuffles off awkwardly to go get coffee from the kitchen. And kind of looking for Cabe along the way.
Okay. And Cabe went off to make a phone call.
Yeah, I'm taking care of some business. I'm on the phone.
So, are you in the kitchen?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Alex is just following you into the kitchen.
Oh.
And he looks out the window and sees Abigail, who's in the yard.
Hi.
And it does kind of a double take. And then sees Abigail.
I tried to turn away. But yeah, I didn't quite. I mean, the way the sun is hitting the windows, I didn't quite see it in time.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I just remembered I have to get back to the church. Thank you for your hospitality. I just wanted to thank you for all of the effort you put in yesterday. A lot of happy people, a lot of happy children, and we're thankful. So I do need to get going though.
Bye.
And he scuttles out.
Abigail runs in the back door, but he's gone.
Yeah, you can try to catch him if you like. Confront a conflict.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So Alex hails the conflict. I just kept him on the table. He's just always there, in case I need him. You know.
Lingering like his cologne.
This is well, it depends on what you're doing and what your motivation is. It might be protect.
Yeah, I just want to catch him, and I'm protecting myself, honestly.
Yeah, so that's that's mercy.
Okay, well, I'm good.
Albert is just watching. He's ready to help and support, but he knows that Abigail needs to make the move first.
Yeah, that's 9.
Okay. All right, so you actually managed to stop him from leaving. Conflict is subdued. And he's just sort of awkwardly shuffling and not looking at, not making eye contact. Yeah. Hi there.
Hi, Alex. I was going to say this isn't what it looks like, but it's exactly what it looks like. So, uh, yeah, if you could, I mean, we could get coffee later and talk about this, but if you could not, bring it up, that would be great.
Well, at least you're not worshiping the devil.
No, I'm not.
Okay, I just need some time.
Okay.
And I'm very sorry. I didn't
Why
mean
don't
to.
why don't we meet at why don't we meet at Ma Java uh, at like 4:30, and we can have a cup of coffee. We can talk about this.
Oh, okay, okay. I'll be there.
Great. Um, yeah.
And then he awkwardly leaves.
Ah, fuck.
That was a success with complications, so it's not quite over yet, but it was diffused.
Well, I'm so fucked. And Abigail just kind of stands in the middle of the yard and like looks like she's been emptied of everything. And just sort of watches after his car as it goes down the driveway and heads off down the highway, and just sort of stands there with the hair, with the wind blowing through her hair.
I think Mel is gonna leave and come looking for Abigail because she would have caught where his eye line was.
Oh, sure.
Hey, what's going on? That guy was acting super weird.
He recognized me. And by that I mean he recognized me.
Do we need to do a magic about it?
I don't think so. I think I convinced him to talk to me about it first. Nobody else knows this, but I work at Harvest Hills. You need to keep that a secret. Let's just say I have a really good job there, and I can't give it up. Too many people would be disappointed in me. So,
Okay. Well, the secret stays safe with me.
okay. I think if you could tell everybody else, I think I need to go deal with that.
If you need help, I mean, let us know. Right?
Of course. Yeah. But I think I need to do this myself before we get, anybody else involved. Here, we're all dealing with a lot, and I don't know, solve this.
I believe you've got it.
Okay. Thank you. And Abigail gives her an extremely awkward hug.
And awkward it is.
Yeah. They're friends. They're not hugging friends yet.
Yeah.
But and then sort of stiffly goes to her car and is like pulling off her wig on the way, and drives off down the driveway to head back toward Harvest Hill.
All right, we'll come back to that. In the meantime, Cabe, you wheeling and dealing, or are you doing the land deal now, or are you doing some other business?
No, I'm sincerely trying to get this land deal done as quickly as I possibly can.
All right, so I'm adding a land deal conflict to the table, and you are at this point just trying to track down the owner, probably, right? So Sorry, I wasn't looking. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. So this is, let's see, awareness. We're going to start there. And that is what is awareness? That's a wisdom roll. And you're confronting land deal. It's not as simple as just looking up a name. There might be some complications. There might not, depending on how you roll. Oh, I think you're on mute again.
Yeah, that's what I get for shifting back and forth between my character sheet or not. So it's just a straight up wisdom, right?
Yep, that's right.
That is an 8.
Okay. So you find the owner of this plot of land is the Mayor of Salem.
Okay, so what is my relationship with the Mayor of Salem like?
We are in a mundane, so I guess I just need to tell you. I think you would know each other. But
I would assume so.
Since I have narrative control, I'm not going to make it a close relationship. Her name is Sarah Plummer. And she has been mayor for 4 consecutive terms. She's one of these, been here forever. And her politics are really about keeping big agra going in her city so that she can collect the taxes. So, it's a pretty straightforward situation. But she is the owner. She probably owns a lot of land around here.
Mayor, good afternoon.
Hello. It is good to hear from you. How are you today? How is the hearth?
Well, it could be better, but it could be worse.
Certainly. I know the county has been breathing down your neck. I'm fighting the good fight at City Hall whenever I can.
Well, we at the Hearth certainly appreciate you and all your good works for the town.
I'm sorry, I'm in a bit of a hurry. What is this regarding? I may be
This is regarding plot parcel 3485 through 3440.
Oh yes, we have that under contract with ConAgra. They'll be moving in the spring.
I have an outside investor that's interested in that land and is willing to pay cash up front for it right now.
Oh.
For considerably more than the agro company is willing to pay.
Well, you don't know, do you? What the ConAgra is planning on paying for this. We already are in contract with them. All right, so now you're going to have to navigate others to get past this roadblock. And land deal has been subdued. So you can spend a charm to go after it again, or I can escalate it.
I don't know if I really want to escalate that right now.
Yeah, okay.
So it would be a navigate others then?
Yeah. Based on your expression, I see you rolled well.
Yeah, it's not a good roll. I rolled a 3. I'm -2 on wisdom, so it sucks.
Okay. Yeah, I know what your last. Well, yeah, you spent a charm, so you don't have any charm right now. Okay, so she asked for your offer.
Well, I will research that offer on the last 3 or 4 land deals for a similar size thing, and I'm going to basically double that price.
Well, Cabe, I'm going to have to be honest here. I think that your investor coming up with that kind of money isn't entirely trustworthy, and I need just a straight and narrow deal. I am a elected official. I cannot be involved in, excuse me, dirty money. This is my reputation, and it is unethical for me to do so. And you might not realize that that it's not on the up and up, but I'm telling you it cannot be. So, thank you for your time, and I really hope that things go well with the county.
I am so very, very sorry to hear that, and I'm frankly rather nonplussed by the simple consideration that you would think I would come to you with dirty money, as you so eloquently put it.
Well, I don't know what else to tell you. I do need to be getting going. I have a meeting. Thank you. And she hangs up on you. Nice job, Cabe. Okay, so what next? We're in a mundane. I would like to cut to Abigail and her meeting, but we can do other things first if you want to wrap up anything in this mundane scene. Does Cabe have a plan B at this point?
Cabe's plan B is to call the aggro company.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And see if they're more amenable. But also, I would like to review the contract that I have with the Fae.
Okay. So the terms are pretty tight. It says that the General George Washington will reveal how to stop the Battle Crow in exchange for stopping the land deal with the address, right? The location.
Ooh, okay.
And then it says failure to do so in a fortnight will result in compensation required. So you have 2 weeks to do this. Well, you know, we only have about 3 before the end of the world, so.
Right. Well, you know, either way, whatever, right? I'm gonna need a minute to think on this.
Okay. Mel, anything in this mundane scene before we cut to the coffee shop?
I'm guessing Cabe hasn't come back and relayed any of this yet.
Has he?
No, I'm still working on it. I'm not
Okay.
really.
I don't think I have anything else other than the scene then.
Okay.
Albert would like to do one last divination.
Mm-hmm.
Albert doesn't know what's going on with Cabe and the land deal, but Albert just wants to know what are the potential future ramifications of the land deal. Like, what happens if... Okay, so what's the intent? The intent is there a way to do this that benefits everyone in the town and the Fae? Like, what's the best possible outcome we can shoot for with this land deal thing?
Okay. Land deal is subdued. Would you like to spend a charm to confront it, or would you like a...
I would, because this might determine a few things Albert might do.
Okay, got it. All right, it's available to confront. So that's a wisdom roll.
Yes.
And this is mundane, so it's just a straight roll.
Okay. Seven with my plus. Oh my gosh.
Almost not.
Scary.
Okay, the best possible outcome. This is really a success with a complication. So,
okay.
The Fae likely intend to turn this into a crossing.
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't have direct access to here anymore, and they are attracted to it because of all of the activity that's been happening lately. The Fae can feed off of this energy. So the best possible outcome is that they have their crossing, but that they limit it to the local Fae, because the alternative to that is that a bunch of Fae get excited about this because it's, you know, the solstice and the everything else, and it'll just be flooded with trickster spirits, which will be a bad situation for everybody. So that's sort of the dangerous coin you're dealing with. It needs to be contained to the local spirits and the local Fae that need space, and we can't invite the entire armada.
Is the impression that they just want that space unoccupied, or do they want the agriculture intact? Like, do they care about the agriculture?
I think they just don't. I think they care about what's the term? Like taming of the land. Like they just need free open land and to be a crossing. So if you start building, you know, anything on there, it's gonna limit their access.
So they just don't want it developed.
They don't want. That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I think Joe and I might be on the same track now.
So if there were some kind of natural disaster that renders the land unarable or unsuited for an agribusiness, that might facilitate a good resolution to that.
You're in the exact same mind space that I'm in.
Yeah. No, I was looking at one of my spells and I was like, what if the land weren't so good anymore?
And what if it ends up costing our mayor more to try to hold that land, and because it's not, and the agribusiness gets mad at her, and that would be terrible. So okay, that's basically the seed I wanted to plant. So,
okay,
cool.
Yeah. But be warned, you know, all of the witches in America, plus all of the Fae in America, plus gods descending, need to play careful here, because adding Fae to the mix is going to be... I mean, you all chose that, so it's fine. I'm just going to sit here and drink my coffee.
I already regret bringing another element of conflict into this, but hey, you know what? It's good. This is good. We're fine. We're okay.
I regret nothing.
Okay, well, let's cut to Abigail. Are you heading to the coffee shop? Do you want to go there, or did you want to do something first?
I'm gonna go to this coffee shop. You know how most towns have like a kind of a more progressive district where younger people congregate and like queer people can go there and like it's a safe haven. Salem has a block where that's true, a single city block, and it's got like a shuttered new age bookstore is there, and there's a Thai restaurant, kind of that like nobody ever goes to, and then there's this place called Montage's, which is like a local institution where they have really great coffee, like the best coffee anywhere. And there's rumors that may be magically inspired in some way among the witch folk, but it doesn't seem like Ma Java herself is a witch, so who knows.
So they do pour overs and $15 cups and stuff like that. Okay, so I'm going to give you the choice as a player. We can do this as a mundane, in which I have narrative control, or we can do this as a meeting, in which you have narrative control.
Let's do it as a meeting.
Okay.
I'm just going to say this up front. Abigail has a little mind wipe spell she's worked up in her back pocket. But she's hoping, you know, there is some element of her that's like, if this secret was out, like that could be good, you know, like it is really hard and painful to live a secret for any long amount of time. Not that I would know anything about that.
Well, since this is a meeting, I will reveal my hand and say, and ask you, did Alex go and get your father and bring him to the meeting? Or did he just meet you? He did. Okay.
Oh yeah. Like my dad is there.
Yeah.
And when I see that, I almost turn around and walk back out. But they see me. So,
Alex has obviously told him what he found out, and they're waiting for you.
First I stand in line and get a coffee. I make them wait. Power play. And then I go and sit down. I'm like, Alex, it's so good of you to bring my father. Are we here to discuss church business?
No, I had to tell him the truth.
I asked you to keep this in confidence, but I suppose with the way you're feeling for my job, it makes sense that you would tell my father. And she doesn't look at her dad and just sort of says, "Hi, Dad," and sits down, clutching her extremely expensive cup of coffee.
You know, your mother always told me that I was always trying to force you to be somebody that you're not. She used to, when he'd go to bed, she would tell me that I shouldn't be forcing you into the church, shouldn't be forcing you to work at the church, allow you to be your own self.
I like the church and I like the people. I love working with you, and I just have this thing about me that's I've known about it for a while, and it hasn't gone away. So that's that. Now you know. Nobody else does.
I am a man of God. As a man of God, I know, without a doubt, that God never makes mistakes.
Yeah.
You're not a mistake. You were created just as God made you. I just need to know one thing. What do I call you?
Abigail is like holding her breath and trying not to cry. And she kind of lowers her hand and says, "Abigail, but not Abby."
You got it, Abigail. Hope to see you on Sunday. Alex, you need to calm down. And then your dad leaves. Alex is looking a little sheepish.
Alex, so good to see you.
Well, got some business to come to attend to. This part of town always makes me a little nervous, so I think I'll head on my own way.
Don't forget your coffee.
Right, thank you, Abigail.
It's not contagious. You realize that, right?
Yeah, I know. I am just going to have to get used to it. That's all there is, and that's that.
Okay.
This coffee is really good.
Yeah.
I'm going to take it with me, and I'll see you in church.
Great.
And he just sort of, without making eye contact, leaves.
Table for as long as it takes to finish her coffee, sort of calming down, and tears occasionally filling her eyes, but never quite falling. And she pulls out her phone and texts Jocelyn and says, "It went well." And Jocelyn, of course, doesn't respond. But, and she smiles a little bit, and once her coffee's done, she gets up and leaves.
Okay. And that's the end of that scene. We did have a little pre-show meeting on that because I did take narrative control, but Emily knew what I was doing, so we're cool there. All right, so back to the hearth. What's going on now? So I guess we have to make a decision here. Are you going to continue working this Bay contract? So we need to go back into mundane and figure out what happens with the ConAgra guys? Or do we want to do something else?
Well, I know that we were kind of on the same track of mind with doing something about the land. So,
So
I
is this
feel
a
like
mission?
maybe.
Well, I think we should probably discuss between the three of us what we want to do and sort of consolidate our plan.
Yeah.
Because I think all three of us independently have sort of forming the same idea, but we should probably get together and put that together.
All right, quick meeting then.
Okay.
Yeah. Good.
All right.
Albert spends 45 minutes trying to text on his phone his idea to Cabe, and then realizes the battery ran out, and he asks Mel to text.
I'm not your text person.
Of course, no. I'll just plug this in.
Did you kill your battery again?
Uh,
Trying to figure out texting?
I forget that you have to press the same number several times to get the next letter, and if you take too long, you have to delete it and start over.
I keep telling you we need to go get you a new phone.
No. These. I'll just plug this in. Cabe will have the details in about 4 hours.
Why don't I just go get him?
Or we can do that.
Yeah, I mean, he's in the house. In fact, Cabe,
Yeah.
can we talk to you for a minute?
Yeah, I'll be right down.
Smiley face, smiley face. And she just
emoji.
kind of turns and giggles at Albert.
Albert takes a moment and he locks in that smile, that giggle, that genuine bit of laughter, and he stores it. And that's it.
What are you all bellowing about?
Figuring out this dumb Fae contract thing, I think.
All right. Well, I think what we're going to have to do is make that bit of land a little bit unsavory for those who want to buy it.
I was kind of thinking the same thing, and I think I could maybe do something about that.
Well, I am intent to hear, and you are now my favorite person. He grabs a seat and looks at you.
How important is it that remains farmable or at all pleasant?
There's nothing in the contract that says anything about the condition of the land. It just
I'm
needs
talking
to be
about
undeveloped.
Us and what we're comfortable with.
Well, let's just say nothing's forever. We can certainly fix something that we've destroyed.
Because I think I can make the land kind of suck.
As can I. In fact, I would relish it.
Well, I can't say that I don't find that disturbing, but I think it would fit our agenda very well.
Yeah, Albert, that's a little creepy even for you. You're
I'm finding
excited
myself
about destroying land?
in need of outlet. In need of discharging some of this passion I find myself generating lately. This could be a useful and creative outlet for this kind of power.
Well, let's go over the particulars, shall we? What exactly do you have in mind?
I was just going to make the land kind of sick. I can do it with people. I figure, why couldn't I do it with an area?
Any manner of natural disaster can be called upon in our service to this. I can call upon a landslide, earthquake, tornado, sinkhole.
Do you think that might piss off the sisters more? Not that I'm not interested in Destructo, Albert, but...
These need not be permanent. It is in my ability to shape these things.
Well, it would have to be something that would have long-term ramifications, not something that could easily be fixed with an earth mover. Something like salt in the fields or...
Oh, I assure you, when I unmake something, it remains so until they wish it.
Again, kind of creepy even for you.
Do I scare you?
Frankly, a little, yeah.
Maybe. I mean, I thought I had the scary stuff going on here, but
Albert very visibly looks hurt hearing that.
Albert, you have to understand, the source of fear is not understanding. Frankly, I've known you for quite some time and know very little about you, other than the fact that I don't trust that that's your real name. But your life is yours to lead, and I'm not the type to pry, nor am I the type to try to force somebody into anything that they don't want to do, especially since you seem to be struggling with something that I don't know. Everybody's got their own demons, I suppose. But if you want somebody to really enjoy bonds of fidelity with you, you need to be honest with them.
I shall try.
Then I will simply leave it to both of your capable hands to make sure that something unsavory happens to those parcels of land. Once that does, I'll be ready to take action. All you have to do is let me know.
shall I drive?
All right, so this is going to be a mission. This is, are you taking you have a town car, right?
I have a town car. I'm perfectly willing to lend it to somebody.
Well, we had, I think we'd established that there was an extra car at the hearth that Mel tends to drive.
Yeah.
I just think it's a better idea that I not be seen around that area at all, just in case, since I'm pushing for this with the mayor. So I'm going to let them take care of business without me.
Okay. Does Abigail want to be involved in this? So she probably comes back at the right time.
Yeah, I think there's somebody texts me the address, and I just show up there. There's a bounce in my step. Seem a little happy for a situation where we're going to create a natural disaster, but it's a good day for me.
So we're
welcome home, Abigail.
Hi.
And Albert gives a knowing nod, but what he knows, who knows? But
I just assume Albert knows everything. So
he gives you a very meaningful nod and a welcome home.
Actually, I'll pull Albert aside real quick. I
Jane.
think this might be a very good opportunity for the youngster to learn something.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm assuming whatever you're going to do might be a ritual. You're taking the bulk of us with you, perhaps taking her with you, since her energy seems to be focused on a very destructive path. Perhaps a release, much like you, might be to her benefit. Just a suggestion. I leave it to your wisdom.
Thank you. I hadn't considered that.
The more we actually start acting like she's part of us, the better.
I fear that in a moment of weakness, I may become the example of everything I don't wish for her to be.
Then she will learn how you recover from losing control, for we all will at some point.
Albert walks up to you and gives you a hug.
And Cave hugs you right back. Like one of those big, like very warm type hugs.
Yeah.
He's very much like that.
Mm.
And almost as if like he just and it's very sincere. He doesn't hold anything back. There's no like to the side. There's just deep and a deep breath of like, oh, like this is great. Like it feels good. It feels warm.
Yeah. Albert receives that, and he looks at you a bit brighter, and he stiffens up. Thank you for reminding me of what my name is. I'll go and see if the others are ready for our field trip.
I'll be working here, and I'll be a moment's call if you need me.
My phone is charging. You best text Mel if you require to electronically give us a textual message. And
You
Albert
can
walks
text.
along.
You can text me too.
I know how I get in contact with y'all. I'm just saying, I got my phone here. If you need me, I'll come a running.
So where do
You look
need-
a bit. Your energy just feels different, Abigail. It looks good on you.
I got some good news. Let's put it that way.
Well, I'm glad for that blessing then.
What do you need from me?
Sorry, she was climbing my leg.
Tiny kitten.
For listeners, we have a little kitten on. All right. Anyway, moving on.
No, bring back the kitten.
Bring
This is
back
now the
kitten.
great American
The
kitten.
Great American Kitten.
The Great American Game Derailer, because it's so cute. Oh my god.
Her name's Honeybee. Okay. So all but Cabe are heading out to this outskirts of town, where this parcel of land is. I got the impression that Cabe was asking Albert to bring Raven along.
Yeah.
Does he?
I will check in and ask if Raven would like to be a part of this. And if she says yes, then yes.
She is incredulous. Like she's like, I don't know. Not sure I want to do that or do anything wrong. I just want to stay here.
I've spent more than one lifetime running away, being afraid of the consequences of the powers that I have. And I've realized that the world is emptier from such a remove. I've decided to stop being afraid and to be willing to trust.
This is a meeting,
would
so
invite
does
you
that...
along.
Oh, sorry, I interrupted.
Yeah, and I would like to invite you along, if only to witness an old man try to become better.
Does that speech work?
I would say it does.
Okay. So Raven comes along. So the mission, I'd like to see the visuals as you're pulling up. So just to set the scene, it's night. It's winter night, but the storm is gone. So since you're away from town, and it's a small town, there isn't a lot of light pollution. There's a big, beautiful star field. It's cold. See your breath cold, maybe even colder. And you are, the door's open, and what does it look like when you get out?
Albert steps out, and he's in a fine-looking coat and his boots, and he's got his walking stick with him. He's dressed in dark colors, and he's got a scarf around him. This is the most modern he's ever looked in a very long time, like an actual scarf and an actual coat. And he just looks over at the horizon, takes a deep breath, and a smile comes over him. And there's a playful wickedness to it, but not menacing. It's more like, this should be fun.
Okay, what about Mel and Abigail?
I think Mel is wearing her usual kind of long trench coat. She's very bundled up. And normally when they're going to do stuff, she's kind of more, ready for action. But she seems a little more subdued tonight and keeps throwing nervous glances over at Albert.
Yeah. Abigail is still a little behind on what's happening precisely, but she walks out to sort of roughly behind Albert and Mel, and like her fingertips are like crackling. Night is when she's most effective. I don't know if that's actually true or if she just thinks it's true because she thinks ghosts come out at night or something. But she feels more powerful at night. So
it's essentially a big plot of wild land, mostly wild grass, but it's winter, so it's been killed. And there are oaks and maples and stuff. I mean, it's a nice plot of land, relatively untouched. There is a power line that goes through it, and probably was once used as ranch land, but hasn't for a long time.
That explains why I feel so much power. I'm surrounded by death. All of these dead plants.
So we see you kind of profiled, silhouetted against the star field, and Raven's with you, bundled up. What now?
Albert is going to firstly reach out to any animals and wildlife to communicate what is about to happen. Any that have made their home here will be given time to seek shelter, to not come back to this place until I've let them know that it's safe to return again.
Okay. Well, this is going to probably escalate because we're just going to deal with the land deal conflict for that. And if you subdue it, that means things might get worse. So let's just see what happens. That is I believe, a divination, right?
Yes.
And what aspect are you in?
I am in crone, actually.
Okay. Is that a crone?
So that's outside of my...
Okay. So that's just a regular roll.
Cool.
Just a wisdom roll.
10.
Okay. Wow.
I've been on fire tonight.
Land deal still in play, but it's subdued. And you tell me what happens with all the critters.
There are birds flying away. There's skittering. There's not just the big animals, but the insects. Like all manner of life is basically being informed, and there's like a communion happening.
Do we see like a swarm of bats and
we
insects
see,
all flying up in the same?
Right.
Yeah.
And things that have been hiding in the grass, in the trees. There's an understanding. There's not a panic or anything. There's not like a manic exit. It's more of a very organized, it's like, yeah, we understand.
Are there cicadas in Indiana?
I think it's cool if there are.
So the
and we hear
cicadas rise up.
We hear the swell of their song, and then they're the last to vacate, and we can tell because their song gets further and further away.
All right, so it is suddenly feeling very lifeless for this plot of land. So is Mel going to take it to the next level? Is Abigail? What's the plan?
Albert looks over to Mel, and he simply says, "It's your turn now, and I'll back whatever you do."
Okay, let's hope I can do this then. It's a lot of ground to cover. And I want to cast a spell if I can.
Of course. Land deal has been subdued, so you can spend a charm to go after the same conflict, or I can escalate it.
Ooh. That's a difficult choice. I'll go ahead and spend the charm.
Okay. So we're going to go after the same conflict?
Yeah.
Yeah, the escalation would have been bad. I think that's probably a good choice.
Probably. Especially something I'm trying to cast that's one of my mother spells, and I don't really. Do I get a bonus to that
So if it's
right now? Because I'm in Mother
if
right
you're in
now.
Mother, yeah, that means since it's mission, that means you get wheel. You get to roll that at advantage, and you get
Okay.
the if it's a what is it? Is it severity? I'm assuming you're doing.
No, I'm doing wisdom. I'm doing one of my curse spells.
Okay, cool. Well, describe it. Don't spoil it for us.
Okay. You want me to roll first and
Yeah.
see if it works 1st?
Mhm.
All right. Oh, come on. I really want this to happen. So that's a 10.
Awesome. All right. I'm going to remove the conflict. This is resolved and just hand the whole game over to you. You tell me everything that goes on.
Well, and do I get a
Oh.
experience
Yes,
in?
you do. You get experience in, you said that was in Crone? No, you were
Mother.
in Crone. It was in Mother. So you get experience in Mother.
Cool. So just to read the spell so people at home know, the subject will age exponentially and become incredibly weak or ill, and things will be extremely ineffective at things they once excelled. So I'm basically applying that to the land.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this sort of almost like the air around her looks oily somehow, like an oil slick kind of coloration, and that sort of just starts to ripple across this land, and you can see as this wave of oily ness is creeping, it's killing everything as it comes across it. The plants that were already starting to die are very much dead, and it's just it makes you think of the villain in Fern Gully. Kind of just wipes out everything in that area and just makes it weak and ineffective. If there's anything growing, it's brown and just not it's not a fertile place anymore.
I think Raven's looking at you in awe.
And afterwards she's just like, I think I did it.
I had no doubt.
It's not something I get to do very often and have it be helpful.
It tends to be the double-edged sword that we carry as witches. The wisdom is in learning to master that which you fear instead of run from it.
Well, now what?
Raven, is there anything you would like to do or contribute to?
She just shakes her head, kind of wide-eyed a bit. She hasn't seen magic like this before.
Then I believe we've accomplished what we've come to accomplish. And I have earned my name again. Let's go home.
You don't need me to cast a spell?
Would you
Okay.
like to?
I don't know what I would do. I had a whole plan, and then y'all just took care of it right away.
We may not have many of these quiet moments in time to come. This is a good time to flex. Is that what young people say?
I mean, they did like 5 years ago, but good work. You did it.
What's the word you use now?
And Abigail like gets a mischievous little smile and says, now I have to think of a word. And says, we just call it stunt. It's like, I'm gonna stunt on you. Yeah.
This is a very good time to stunt on all of us, Abigail.
Yes, it is.
You totally haunt the whole place.
Yeah, I could. That was what I was going to do, but I don't think we need to. It's nice. It's nice, quiet like this.
There's no such thing as overkill, only kill.
Cabe is advising from miles away. Kill it dead. Kill it with fire.
Should we go so Cabe can do the thing?
I guess so.
Yeah.
Okay, let's cut to a mundane. I think we will assume at this point that ConAgra does not want this plot of land, and that the mayor is forced to take Cabe's settlement begrudgingly, and that could all happen in the morning, basically.
Now it's at face value.
Yeah, it's not like, okay. And there's probably going to be some conflict down the road, but I mean, this sort of solves itself. You know, we don't need to play this out unless you want to. So we can cut to, actually, let's cut to a momentum, and I assume you need to bring General Washington back so you can complete this deal, right? Do you want to do that?
Sure.
Okay. All right. So momentum means we can still roll for conflicts, but they're probably not going to be big ones. I'm going to bring Faye back. Assume you do the same ritual to get him there in the yard. And he comes out from behind the tree like he did before. This time he's wearing, like 60s era biker gear. And his hair is slicked back. And he's got, the leather jacket around his shoulder, cigarettes rolled up in his sleeve, leaning against the tree. Same face, though. Ah, that was quick. You brought me back in less than a day.
We don't fuck around.
You do
Indeed.
not fuck around. That is true.
Far more casual for a president this time around, huh?
I've been watching some old movies.
Well, here's a contract for the land and ownership in perpetuity.
I don't believe it. You managed to pull it off. Very good. So I owe you information.
Before this exchange is complete, I wish to fully understand our terms so that we may resolve this without any bitterness between us. It's not our procedure to deal with Faye. We come to you in dire times. We want to know that when we complete this deal, you will not be using this as a gateway for all of your kind, only for those who need it.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand a word you said. I was contracted with a Cabe.
Cabe, would you like to relay what I said?
I'm hearing a lot of mumbling from you. You need to speak up or enunciate, or I don't know. Use your vocal cords. I can't hear a word you're saying. Anyway, Cabe, so I owe you some information.
Well, our friend does bring up a good point, and what Mumbles was trying to say was that we wish to, once this contract is concluded, we wish to live harmoniously with your kind in this area. And we were hoping to ascertain whether you wished to flood this area with your folk, or simply just give some of them a place to reside, since space seems to be limited.
Oh well, dang, we didn't put those terms in. I mean, if you would like to make a counteroffer, I'm happy to negotiate.
Certainly, I have this pot of gold that I'd like to exchange for certain guarantees as to the peaceful transition and cohabitation of your kind and ours. As you understand, there is going to be a event coming up fairly shortly, and there is going to be a concentration of a great deal of power not only of your kind, but of mine. I would like to avoid any conflict during that time, if possible.
This is Abigail's pot of gold that you're offering.
No, I
Oh.
have a pot of gold. I have a ton of money. I just got a pot of gold.
Oh, that. All right. Okay. Nice. Okay.
Now, this, of course, could be just between you and me. This pot of gold could just simply be an agreement between gentlemen. No reason to bring anything else into it. And profit could be extreme for someone such as yourself.
All right. Well, let's see if you can navigate others confronting the Fae. Which is wisdom, I think. Who wrote this game?
With my -2, that is a 7.
Okay. It's okay. I will accept your counter offer with one caveat.
That being?
I get to enjoy this land with my friends as well.
Do you wish to be invited to reside amongst us?
Well, if we're limiting it to just the locals, that leaves me out, so I would like to be included. And my friends.
Who might your friends be?
They are fine, gentle nature spirits. They wouldn't harm a fly. Some of them are flies. A modest amount.
Define modest.
I thought I was dealing with Cabe. Do I need to draft up contracts with all of you witches? Do you all talk over each other all the time?
You'll notice I've said nothing.
Well, you just said something.
When we speak with one voice.
You are speaking to the coven. I'm perfectly willing to be a mouthpiece. In whichever way you want to dance around things. But nonetheless, this seems like a trap. Wouldn't everybody agree?
It sounds very much like it.
Okay, well then, we will not limit the terms with your counteroffer.
Well, my counteroffer is that you are free to stay here. Not only that, but I also promise to present modest monthly tribute to you here.
Okay, fine. I'm sick of negotiating. We'll, I guess, make the deal with the coven. Even mumbles. And I will have free reign of this property. Are we done?
I look at the rest of the group.
Define free reign.
God! I'm very close to revoking the entire counteroffer.
I have a out-of-game question.
Yeah.
Is there any relation whatsoever to the fact that in World of Darkness games, vampires find Fae absolutely delicious?
It's hard to not do that. I think it's in my head as canon. So, yeah, we can say that's true. If you would, if we were playing by the rules, you would need to pay a charm for that to be true. But I have to be honest, I would have played it that way anyway.
Okay. I would just advise that I have some friends that might find you and your kind very interesting on in a palatable way, if you catch my drift at all. So maybe you don't want to mess with us as much as you think that you can.
All right, you have to roll for that.
Yep.
That's I almost went to a completely different game, but that is oh man, what's the name of the move?
Make a stand.
Thank you. No, that was a more. No, it'd be the threatening one.
Enforce your will?
Enforce your will. Thank
Enforce
you.
your will.
I kept on going back to Happiest Apocalypse, which is bare your teeth and ambitions. That was like what was about to come out of my mouth. Anyway, so enforce your will,
Okay.
which is a severity roll against Fae, but it's subdued. Do you want to escalate it, or do you want to pay? Do you have any more charm?
I don't have another charm.
Okay. So we have to escalate it.
I'll try not to fail. But I get a plus to that because of my bonuses. Oh, so
Yeah, if the conflict you're confronting is threatening a Fae, means that he can revoke the contract altogether.
I got 10.
Okay, well, don't have to worry about that.
Yes, I love our group tonight.
I will
We're so
immediately
good.
delete that conflict. You have full narrative control. You tell me how he responds.
Kind of looks at Mel and plays it off like he has no idea. And she just kind of creeps over towards him and does the finger fangs thing at him. And just, yeah. Not only do I know some, but I could make some. You do not want to fuck with this group. So I advise you play nice.
So what terms do you get? I mean, you have narrative control.
Was she clear enough, or was that a mumble too?
I think it makes it clear that he can come about, as he pleases, as per what Cabe said, but that if he gets too out of control, that we have means of dealing with him. So he needs to be on his best behavior if he shows up here.
I think you crushed the reason why he wanted to hang out there, like altogether. Like, oh, fuck it, I'm not going to go back to Salem, Indiana ever again. Okay, so the deal's made. All right. So all of this to find out how to defeat the Battle Crow. The Battle Crow is a harbinger, not an entity. So that means when the Battle Crow comes to fruition, death will follow. So if you're dealing with the Battle Crow, the only way to stop that is to stop Armageddon.
Easy.
There is no defeating the Battle Crow. You have to defeat what's creating the Battle Crow. So, maybe you're looking too big. Maybe there's somebody that's doing something that's going to cause a lot of problems for the whole world. That's what you need to deal with. Then the Battle Crow won't have to come. See? The Battle Crow does come, it's too late. You're a bunch of witches. Can't you use your scrying and figure it the hell out? Can I go now?
Do you have any leads?
I just told you.
Yeah, but like
The witches,
you have...
your witches. Who else is doing this? Witches are bringing this about. Look at your witches.
Okay.
How many witches does it take to create Armageddon? Probably 2. Can I go now?
There's nothing in the contract about you leaving.
Ah.
Have a nice evening.
It kind of takes his real form, which is really just a giant, disgusting insect. Sort of like a moth in between forms. And just sort of slithers back into the tree and is hiding.
Can't believe
Well.
I thought he was handsome.
Those things can be whatever they want to be, whenever they want to be.
Oh, I'm into that.
Okay, so what do we do for the final chapter? Do you want a meeting? Or do you want a montage as you close out the night?
Maybe a meeting to discuss our list of suspects.
Yeah, I feel like it needs
that
to
could
be
be
a
good.
meeting.
Yeah, go
Yeah.
for it.
All right. So now we know there are witches trying to summon up the Battle Crow. We just have to figure out who and why.
Technically, it sounds like cause and effect. like whoever's trying to create the end of the world will bring about the battle crow. But like the battle crow is like it, like the cause comes no the effect no the cause comes after the effect. This is all wrinkling my brain a little bit, but I so
Yeah, the Grattle Crow is a symptom of
yeah,
other events, right?
what kind of energy could we track that might be someone who means to do real harm?
Well, and what we need to do is figure out who has something to gain by doing this.
I agree with Mel. I think that a regular criminal investigation, or at least the trappings thereof, will lead us in the right direction. Who has to gain from this, and who and what powers do we already know are involved? And does this coinciding with this eclipse and the arrival of all of these witches here, does that actually bring up our suspect count?
There has to be a way. So Lola said that she could see nuclear explosions in the veil. So there has to be a way that we can see where this energy is coming from in the veil. We've gone there once. We can go there again.
It'd be a lot easier if you guys had a hag with you, but yeah. You can do it the hard way.
We're good at doing things the hard way.
Just so you know, we already have an open portal to the veil. We haven't closed it yet.
There's somebody I need to speak to first before we take any further action. Going into the veil now may be dangerous for all of us.
Oh,
Now more
I'm
than
guaranteeing it'll be dangerous for all of us. It's the veil.
But fun also.
I guess everybody should, if we got something to take care of it, and then this is what we do.
Remember me as I am.
What does that mean?
As the man I've chosen to be and tried to be.
Why does that have to change? I'm actually rather fond of this man.
As am I. And of all of you, but I may have to finally encounter my past again. And I don't know if I can escape death twice.
Well, none of us is going to let you go without a fight. You know that, right?
My mother was head of a storm coven. And if there's anyone I know that would relish an opportunity to use power to change the world, it would be her.
Well, what do we have to gain from her assistance?
Oh, she won't be assisting.
You think she might be part of this?
If she isn't already, she'll want to be.
So this is just like a family squabble that's going to end the world?
I've stopped considering them family for a long time. All that I know is the vision of nuclear explosions, the rush of energy that's in my blood. I know it boils in hers too. I also know that she won't shy away from it as I do.
Hey, Albert, I know you don't think this is true, but sometimes your parents can surprise you.
I hope so.
So,
Okay, there are two new conflicts introduced, Storm Coven and Albert's mom. We'll probably have to unpack that next time. This
Okay.
is the meeting, so Joe, if you do want Albert's mom behind this, that can be true.
Albert's mom is definitely trying to make good on a big event that will cause a lot of damage, but will also secure a future for witches and only witches.
Right. And storm covens, for the listeners, are covens that are trying to overthrow the mainstream because they believe witches shouldn't be living in secret underneath the mundane. If you've seen True Blood, it's probably a similar theme to what you've seen there. So, all right. It's a little early, but I think there's a good place to stop. We all agree.
And on that note,
is there some other business you would like to attend to before we close?
No.
No? Okay. I'm going to find, there's some notes that I'm supposed to be using that I have closed. So I will look for those real quick and try to improvise in the meantime.
Can I just say I miss the montages? They were always fun. You could always imagine a pop hit playing beneath them.
Yeah.
Do you want a montage? We can close on a montage. That'll give me time to find my notes.
Sure.
Just do it. You could take it first, Abigail, since you were suggesting it.
Thank you so much. Yeah. As Mel suggested, if you have anything to take care of, tonight's the night to do it. So Abigail drives back into town, goes to Megan's apartment, and knocks on the door. There's a hug and a kiss, and Abigail gestures for her to sit down and says, "There's something I need to tell you, and before we begin, I hope you can receive this news with kindness, if nothing else." And then the camera pulls away and we don't hear this conversation.
That's good. Anybody else want to take a montage?
Go ahead.
Oh, I think just for cuteness's sake, Mel would be sitting around with Madam and just playing around with Madam, just like, "Oh, whose mommy destroyed a whole parcel of land today? Yeah, just right, it's your mommy."
She came back for the finale.
The kitty.
Yay, kitten!
The kitty's back.
Oh, sweet
Oh,
baby.
I hope the podcast listeners enjoyed that.
Imagine the cutest kitten ever. That's what just happened.
Jim, would you like to take it, or shall I?
Oh, I'll go ahead. It's Cabe. He's by himself. He has a bag. He sort of leans down by a tree and opens up the bag and pours out some cream and some honey, mixes it up and puts the bowl inside a circle with some porcelain mushrooms around it and sets it down. It says, "I promised monthly tribute. Enjoy." And just sort of walks away.
You have a pet pig.
It's awesome. Albert goes up to his room. It's the end of the night. He takes a brand new strand and he begins to add this strand to the already myriad strands of string that, skitter across his room like a spider's web. And on this string, he imprints that moment of seeing Mel genuinely laughing, smiling. And he adds that strand to a section of web that he knows to be his reasons to be Albert.
Okay.
And that's where we leave him.
Well, that is tonight's session. So we will be back next week, remember, July 6th. And then we'll be every other week going on. So our schedule will be back on track then. So if you want to catch up on past episodes, we're already into 5. So the other 4 are at happyjacks.org, Great American Witch, /Great American Witch. And the other APs you can find at happyjacks.org/shows. This is announcements. I think you should probably tune in to my social media at Grey Author, because I'm talking to Gallant Knight about pushing Great American Witch in sooner than we had anticipated. And the reason for that is because, well, we wanted to do it around now anyway, but had held off because of all of the events going on and transpiring. But I think it's just time to get it out there and it's ready to go. So doing some final edits on beta, and we're looking to release that pretty soon. So stay tuned. Hopefully that'll be as soon as next month, in time for my birthday, which is July 27th, in case anybody cares about that. All right, let's close out with the rest. Oh, you guys want to sign off? Who wants to start? Mac?
Hey guys, I am and will continue to be Mac Beauvais. You can find me on the internets as at Strange Like That, the Facebooks, the Instagram, and the Twitters. You can also find me over at 12-Sided Stories, where we do a highly produced podcast that we have also just started streaming. So every Friday night at 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, we are starting our campaign of Heliotrope, which is a cyberpunk game in the Hack the Planet system that Abria is running. So check it out.
That's awesome. Who's next?
I'm Jim, and if you go to www.strategicon.net, you'll find our website for our Strategicon conventions. We just had a virtual GameX, and we're trying to discover whether we're going to have a virtual gateway in September as well. If so, please join us on our Discord channel. All the information will be up shortly on the website once we know for sure. Otherwise, please join us at the LAX Hilton and for some awesome gaming, and including all these wonderful Happy Jacks people plus more.
Hey, I am Emily Vanderwerf. You can find me online at twitter.com/EmilyVDW. My podcast, Arden, scripted fiction podcast, is back Monday, July 6th, the same day that we have our next session here. And I am this Wednesday starting a new game on Happy Jacks with some great folks. It's going to be a Savage Worlds game. I know nothing about the system, so it's going to be like the meta story is going to be everybody teaching me how to play Savage Worlds. So that's going to be fun. I hope the kitten is back next week.
I hope so too.
And hello, everybody. I'm Joe. You know me from this campaign. So some news coming down the line is I may be in more campaigns on Monday nights. We'll see how that shakes out. I'm looking forward to being a part of that when it comes out. Thank you all for letting me come in and crash. It's been an awesome experience. I've wanted to do this for so long. I can't think of a better group of people to be doing this with. So thank you all so much. You can find me on Facebook, JoeKou, or on the Twitter at Joe Love Stories. And I will be seeing more of you all here on this channel.
Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. We will see you next week as we continue with these crazy cosmological antics in Salem, Indiana. So long.
Bye.